Hey folks, welcome back. Pop Retro. Hit that subscribe button and head over to Facebook at facebook.com/popretro1 and give me a follow over there at the Pop Retro Facebook page. Thought I'd take a couple minutes today to talk about this little ditty, Breaker Breaker, which was, I think, considered Chuck Norris's, not his first film, obviously, that he was in, but the first movie that he was the main star of, the one that kind of gave him that breakout appeal, where after this he became, the main star in his own movies moving forward, and fairly bankable on that sort of B-level action star place on the, the spectrum of action movies. So I had trouble tracking this down for the longest time. Not the movie, but this particular Blu-ray release. The film itself was released in 1977. This Blu-ray was released in 2016, so 5 years ago as of this recording, as we are in 2021 right now, if you're watching this at some point in the future. And for whatever reason, I don't think it's out of print, and I'm not sure if it ever went out of print, or if maybe it went out of print and then came back into print because it was popular. I don't know how it works with Olive Films, but for the longest time, I couldn't find this for, under $60 or $70. So I assumed it was out of print. And then about 6 months ago, I just happened to check on it again, and I was able to find it for around $20 or $16 or somewhere around there. And I think I just did a quick check, and it's around $20 or $21 on Amazon if you're looking to pick up Breaker Breaker. Now, I enjoyed Breaker Breaker a lot back when I saw it when I was younger, and rewatching it again. It's from that era of the late 70s when the CB craze was going on. All the movies about truckers and CBs and rural America, topped off by Smokey and the Bandit. And, the pinnacle probably was reached by the late 70s, ending with TV shows like The Dukes of Hazzard, which started in 1979 and ended in 1985. And by then the fad was well over with. But this was sort of right in that sweet spot when that stuff was getting super popular in 1977. And Chuck Norris obviously he's a trucker, and he returns home after being away on some work, and his little brother decides to go do a run for some trucking company that he works for. And of course, to do this run, he's got to go to some dangerous areas, and there's a town called Texas City, and you know what state that's in? It's not in Texas. It's Texas City, California. He's got to go to Texas he's told to avoid Texas City, of course. But of course, because Texas City is run by a corrupt county commissioner type, sort of like a boss hog from the Dukes of Hazzard, named, got it on my notes here, Judge Trimmings, played awesomely by George Murdoch. He's got these speed trap setups that redirect people off their path into Texas City. So he winds up going into Texas City. He gets arrested for some trumped up charge. But then, of course, bad things happen, and he winds up disappeared. So who's going to come to the rescue, of course? Well, Chuck Norris, older brother, who was back in town, and he's got to go and try to figure out what happens. Now, there's a lot of action. There's a lot of silliness. The acting is on par for what you'd expect for a movie like this, especially early on in Chuck's career. And this was from, I think it was AIP, right? Yeah, this was an AIP, American International Pictures release from back in the day. So lots of grindhouse theater style releases from AIP back in the day. And this was this was just exploiting that trucker CB theme that was going on at the time. So I would say the funnest part for me was George Murdoch as the judge, because he's so sleazy, and just he plays it up. He plays it so over the top. And if you remember Boss Hogg from the Dukes of Hazzard, just think of a boss hog, only just an even nastier, meaner, sleazier, and less comical, less funny version of Boss Hogg. And that's what you get with the judge who runs this little town of Texas City, California. So the Olive release that I have here, I really like the disc art, and this is the original art, I believe, from Breaker Breaker. I mean, just hold it a little closer so you can see it. I just love that semi-truck crashing through everything, barreling down on people, which sort of depicts a lot of what you see in the film. And here's a look at the back. There's a picture of young Chuck. And there are no special features on this Olive Films release. I was just thrilled that they actually did release it. I dug out all my Chuck Norris movies about 6 months ago, which is, I think, when I thought about this one again, and the fact that I didn't have it, because I wanted to go through and rewatch all my Chuck Norris movies in order from whence they came out. And so far, I've only rewatched Breaker Breaker, but I got my whole stack over here still off to the side. I'm still planning to do. I also like to point out my good friend and colleague Paul Mavis wrote a great review of Breaker Breaker at the website moviesanddrinks.com. I will link it in the description of this video. So if you want to read all about this movie Breaker Breaker, and where it's a lot more in depth than what I can get into here on this short little video, just click on to the moviesanddrinks.com review for Breaker Breaker, and it's really good reading. So anyhow, that's it for today. I just wanted to share with you, if you didn't know, that there was a Blu-ray release for Breaker Breaker. It is out there. There's a look at the inside. There's the disc. There's no reversible art on this Olive Films release. There's the little ad with the other releases from Olive, little mail-off card. So if you don't have this one, you can get it and add it to your collection. I'll put a link to where you can buy it also in the description of this video. So thanks for tuning in, and I will be back here tomorrow with another video.